Hi, this is Dr. Gary. Welcome to the weekly tune-up today. Thank you, all of you, for sending me an email regarding last week's program. You know, as I look on our website, some of the subjects that get the most hits are all about fear, and we covered that last week. And this week I'm going to expound upon a little bit more. I had one of our viewers, someone I know, have a lot of respect for, that is a great supporter of me and the program, and also gives me a lot of feedback. And I got some last week I thought was real good. And it's something I want to share with you and what this person wrote to me regarding fear. You know, everything works on a continuum, which is polarities, dark and light, love and fear. And we've got to take a look at that, because when we become fearful of something, as the adage goes, what you think about, you bring about. If you're focusing on something you do not want, you're going to bring that about, whether it's in a relationship or a job or even your own thought process and your own confidence. If you're always focusing on how inconfident you are, you're going to bring about more inconfidence, and you're actually going to bring about more situations to prove that you're right. With fear and love, especially if we look at relationships, many people get into relationships out of a fear perspective. They're fearful of being alone. They're fearful of being controlled. They're fearful of this or that, rather than being in a loving place where they have confidence in themselves and in the relationship and they trust. Fear and trust do not work together. Love and trust do. So if we look at fear in our lives, there's many things to be afraid of if we want to focus on the fear aspect of it. There's also many things to love in our life. There's many things to be happy about, to be thankful about. Even in this day and age right now where a lot of people are doing very poorly and other people are doing very nicely, we have to take a look at what's really creating some of that. I have another perspective that I just got another email from one of my clients that has a business in San Francisco and also in Hawaii. And this is a person who has always feared a lot, has done things out of fear, but all of a sudden, as they've worked with me, I've talked to them about this fear-love perspective and what you think about, you bring about. And they were bringing about a lot of fear. They're bringing about a lot of worry. They're bringing about a lot of no cash in their business. They're bringing about a lot of those things until they really got it. And I just got a letter from them this week also regarding that once they shifted their focus, they've got more business than they can handle, and he can't figure out where it's coming from. Well, where it's coming from is energy. And I know that sounds new agey, and some of you might think that's nonsense, but it's really true. It's the law of physics working. Not even the law of attraction. We won't even go there with it. It's just simply the law of physics. We bring about in our relationships, in our business, in our lives, and even in our health, what we think about the most. If we fear being ill all the time and not feeling good, we're going to be able to focus on that, and we're going to be able to bring that about. If we focus on how healthy we are and what we can do today to remain that way, we're going to bring that about. In our relationships, if we can understand that many times we get in relationships because we are fearful, fear of being alone, fear of this, fear of that, rather than loving and really being in a relationship because you love someone, not because you're afraid of them, or you're afraid what they will do to you or they won't do to you. If you look at it from a loving perspective of trust and allowing, it changes everything. I know many people right now, I work with a lot of young people, and young women especially right now, between the ages of 25 and maybe 35, they want to be married, they want to start families. And sometimes they are dating, becoming from a fear perspective, going out with the wrong people, trusting and hoping, that virus word, that something's going to work. That's not the way to do it. Come from a loving perspective and a confident perspective, and really calm yourself down so you can feel good about yourself, and you're going to feel the right relationship come to you, and you'll actually be able to manifest that by staying out of fear. Many times when we enter relationships in a fearful perspective, we end up with the wrong relationship. However, even if it's the wrong relationship, once we understand that, if both parties can make adjustments in that relationship and start working with it, you can create a good relationship out of that. So fear is a interesting thing because most of the time, as I say, it is between our ears. And what that means is it's not imaginary. It's the way we're thinking about things. As I said last week in the tune-up, if we can focus on what we want, and if we can, whether we have money or no money, a lot of people are worried about that. They worry about, oh, I haven't got the money to pay the bills. Well, focus on what you can do today to create some. Focus on what you can do today to be at your optimum ability to feel good about yourself. Ask yourself, what would be the reason someone would be attracted to me, whether it's in business or it's a relationship? What is the reason they would be attracted to me? And then create that in yourself first, and then things will come to you. If you're focusing on why it's not happening and what's wrong with you and what's wrong with business and what's wrong with the world, guess what? You're going to just see more of that. It's going to create an energy inside of you that just flat doesn't work. Now, I know we're in some interesting times right now. I'm not going to say tough times because I don't think they're tough. I mean, I can talk about tough, but we're not in tough times right now. We're in interesting times. The rules are changing. It's a moving line all the time. What's going to create prosperity for you, what's going to create happiness in a relationship for you, is for you to decide that what happened yesterday, let it go. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. Learn from it, make adjustments to it, and then decide right now that you're going to move forward with a new vision, with current ideas, and above all, have great requisite variety. And what that means is be flexible. Be flexible, and if you haven't got flexibility, get some, because that's what's going to get you through tough stuff. If you perceive it to be tough or not, anytime you can become more flexible, you're going to be much more like a willow tree, and you'll be able to kind of move with the wind and the ebbs and the flows rather than be brittle and break. Fear comes a lot of times out of the idea of having to do something a certain way because we've always done it that way, or modeling what somebody else did, thinking that's the way you've got to do it. Be flexible, be creative. I believe the universe and God created each one of us to be an individual and have individual purposes and also individual ideals, and that sends us into a new direction so we can reach our potential. If we're fearful and we do not have love in our life, or if we have too much love, but yet it's not balanced with enough common sense and maybe some fear, we're going to make some bad decisions. So today I want you to think about this. I want you to think about your life right now. Think about what you can do today to set it back on the tracks, because the tracks are there, and the only thing keeping you from being on the tracks or in line with prosperity or feeling good or being happy or being in love or having a great relationship is attitude. Your attitude about what you're afraid of. So remember, what you think about, you bring about. Let's work on that this week. Let's work on our objectives for the year. Let's stay on that. We're still right in the middle of January. We got a whole year ahead of us to make this a great year, whatever that means to you. But let's do that rather than focusing on what's wrong and what the news says, because most things we're not in control of, but the one thing you are in control of is your thoughts. So until next week, this is Dr. Gary, thanking all of you for participating. And also, you can email me at drgarydaniel@aol.com. I'd love to hear from you. And until next week, I'm wishing you a great week. Bye-bye.